Every cave painting on Earth uses the same red. Not similar red, not inspired by red, the exact same iron-rich mineral pigment, ground up, mixed, applied. In caves across Europe, in rock shelters across Africa, in sites across Australia, across the Americas, separated by oceans, by tens of thousands of years, by civilizations that never met, and yet the same red. The mineral is called ochre. It is iron oxide, rust, the oldest color in human history, and we have no idea why every human culture on Earth reached for it. Here is what we do know. Ochre use dates back at least 300,000 years, possibly further. Sites in South Africa, Pinnacle Point, Blombos Cave, contain ochre tools, ochre grinding stones, ochre smeared on rock surfaces. These are not modern humans as we think of them. These are people standing at the earliest edge of what would become us, and they were already collecting red. Researchers Francesco and Lyn Wadley have spent decades documenting this. Their work at Blombos Cave found ochre pieces with deliberate engravings, abstract lines scratched into the surface. This is not accidental. This is intentional. But intentional why?
That is the question nobody has been able to fully answer. Some theories are practical. Ochre has mild antiseptic properties. It can be used to preserve animal hides. It repels insects. Perhaps the early use was purely functional, a kind of prehistoric medicine cabinet. But then why paint with it? Why engrave it? Why carry pieces of it hundreds of miles from the source? There are ochre sites in southern Africa where the pigment was transported over 300 kilometers. That is not a shopping trip for bug spray. Something else was happening. Other researchers, including Ian Davidson and Christopher Henshilwood, have argued that ochre marks the beginning of symbolic thought. The moment humans began to represent ideas outside their own heads, the moment color carried meaning. Red means something to us. It always has. Stop signs are red, blood is red, fire is red, danger, passion, power, warning. Is this cultural, or is it something older? Here is the strange part. Red, specifically red in the form of ochre, appears before language is thought to have fully developed, before cities, before agriculture, before anything we typically call civilization.
It appears at the threshold of what we call behavioral modernity, the point where humans stop simply surviving and begin doing something that looks like culture. And across every continent, with no contact, different groups of humans independently picked up the same color and decided it mattered. In Australia, the Wardaman people have oral traditions connecting ochre to the dreaming, the foundational cosmology of the universe. In South America, burial sites from over 10,000 years ago show bodies covered in red ochre powder. In Europe, Neanderthal sites, Neanderthals, contain evidence of ochre use, though this remains debated. Even our closest evolutionary relatives may have reached for the red. A 2021 study published in PLOS One by researchers at the Max Planck Institute found that color preference for red appears cross-culturally in ways that suggested biological, not just social origin. We are drawn to red. We have always been drawn to red. But here is what makes the ochre mystery something stranger than just color preference. It is the consistency, the convergence. The fact that isolated groups operating independently across tens of thousands of years all arrived at the same symbolic material. No other color appears with this frequency in early human sites. Not blue, not black, not white. Red, only ochre. Some anthropologists now argue that ochre use was not learned, not passed down from a single source, not spread through migration. It emerged independently, repeatedly, like a thought the species kept having on its own. And if that is true, if humans, separated by oceans and millennia, kept independently discovering that this one mineral deserved to be made meaningful, then ochre is not just a pigment. It is something closer to a fingerprint, not of a person, of a species. The oldest color we have was never chosen because it was available. Every color was available. We chose red because something in us, something below language and before culture, already knew that red meant something. We just have not figured out what.